Okay, I'm going to epoxy the 1/8 inch stereo pin, jack, whatever, into the white collar. You can see it just moves easily back and forth in that. But at this time, I'm not going to epoxy the white collar into the tube. If at some point I pull it out and the white part pulls out like that, then I will glue it up. But for right now, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to epoxy this basically just flush with the end of that. The other one doesn't move in and out quite so easily, but I'm still going to epoxy them both. I'm not going to glue anything on this end for the time being, but I'll do the same thing. If this white plug doesn't want to stay in the tail booms as I pull it out, then I'll glue it in after that. So I'm just basically going to do one end of those with epoxy. Okay, there's the two of them epoxied up, and what I did is I put epoxy around the silver part, and then I slipped the plug, whatever you want to call it, in this direction onto it and stopped when I got it where I wanted to. In other words, if I had put the plug back here, put epoxy on it, and then pulled it forward, I would be moving epoxy towards the business end of this. As it is, I put the plug on and moved it in this direction, so any excess epoxy will appear here in the back. I'm going to let that sit and cure for a while, and we'll see what that does. I'm a little worried about this part. Okay, I consider these tail boom covers, if that's what you want to call them, as part of the tail booms. And this is simply going to be to glue these two sections together. And I'm going to try to do that with some Yoo-Hoo pour and make sure I don't get any squirting into this area where the excess might cause the booms not to be pushed through these, because it seems like these are designed to be glued together like this, carried separately, and then slipped over the tail booms as the tail booms are inserted. Now I've got all these sanded, and again I'm going to try to explain that I'm going to try to stay away from this edge and just put Yoo-Hoo pour in this area, staying away from this inside even though it's sanded. Same thing on this side. Yoo-Hoo pour down through here. Again, here's a place where the boom will be tight in it. I'm going to stay away from, come on, focus. I'm going to stay away from that inside edge as much as possible. Yoo-Hoo pour down these, and again, in this section, stay away from the inside edge as best as possible. And blue tape them up and let them sit. There's the boom covers glued and taped. I'm going to let that sit and cure, the Yoo-Hoo pour and the epoxy. I think the epoxy's sort of getting set up. Yep. Yeah. But I'm still going to let it sit and cure for a while. That will basically, once I take the blue tape off, that will pretty much finish the booms. I'm not going to do anything else to them for the time being, but stick those plugs down in and leave the back open to attach to. And like I say, these slide down over the tail booms. So that pretty much will finish the tail booms until I take the tape off and check everything. That'll be several hours from now. Okay, we had enough time to cure up a bit, enough to where I could put the plug in. As you can see, there's no excess epoxy around this area because, again, I'm epoxied the plug, and then moved this white plug down over it in this direction so any excess was pushed towards the inside of the tail boom. And on this end, I'm not doing anything more than that for right now. The second one is exactly the same. No excess epoxy in this area. And both the white plugs are just pushed in. So I can pull the plug out, move this DuPont connector around for plugging in, making sure the polarity's right, etc., etc. And then the boom covers are across the way, just curing up overnight. There's not much else I need to do to the booms. So, aside from plugging them in and testing them, the booms, that's the final assembly on the booms. Thank you.